I'm John with Hargrove Inspection Services, and what we're going to be doing today is an indoor air quality test, or a test for mold. We're standing in a basement of a home that was closed up and experienced a mold problem due to high humidity and some moisture issues that were occurring in the crawl space. So what we're going to do is we pull a calibrated air sample inside as well as one outside, and what that's going to do, it's going to give an indication of what the indoor air quality is inside the house, as well as what the baseline or the normal air quality is outside in this area. The sample cells will be sent to a lab for analysis, where they're going to identify not only what type of mold is present, but what quantity of mold, because both of those are important to determine the overall indoor air quality of the home that's being tested. In this case, we're just going to pull one sample from inside. In some situations, you might pull multiple samples if you have a feel for different areas that may be experiencing a mold problem. But it's a calibrated pump that we use. It's going to run for 10 minutes. It draws air in at the rate of 15 liters per minute. So a total of 150 liters of air will be pulled across the sample cell. In some situations, you may vary that. If it's a real dusty or moldy environment, you may run a shorter sample time. And that's just going to help the lab to identify if there's too much particulate or mold spores on the screen. It's going to be hard to count and identify, what's present. In this case, full remediation has been completed, so we're going to run a full 10-minute sample. Okay, so now the test is complete. So we'll pull the sample cell off. It's run for 10 minutes, so it's pulled 150 liters of air across the sample cell. So we'll seal it up. We'll make notes on the sample cassette where we've tested, and then we'll do the same type of a test, set up the pump and a different sample cassette outside. And in this situation now, we're going to have a sample that's been pulled inside the test site, as well as one that we'll pull from the outside as a baseline. Both cassettes then will be sent off to the lab for analysis, where they're going to identify what type of mold was present and at what concentration. At that point, you'll be able to look at the results and see if the indoor air quality, if the mold that was found is consistent with what's outside and at the same level or less than what's naturally occurring outside. That's going to be an indication of a healthy home or a safe indoor environment. If, however, the sample comes back at higher concentrations than outside, or with different types of molds, like maybe toxic molds that aren't naturally occurring outside, that could be an indication that you have poor indoor air quality, and further work is going to be needed by an industrial hygienist or a professional mold remediation company. In a lot of situations, mold testing or the need for mold testing comes up because during a real estate transaction or a home inspection, mold was identified or conducive conditions for mold growth were identified. But in a lot of situations, you may visibly see mold, or you may have a roof leak or a plumbing leak that's caused mold to grow or potentially grow behind walls. So anytime you have any visible mold, or you've had water entry caused by roof leaks or plumbing leaks, it's important to have a thorough inspection done to see what mold might be present. But also, mold testing is going to definitely give you an idea of what the indoor air quality is and how that might be affected by an uncorrected water issue like a plumbing leak or roof leak. So call Hargrove Inspections if you need to have any mold testing, or if you need to have an inspection done to identify any conditions that may be providing or promoting mold growth.